My mom, had given me up when I was about 1 year old. I mean, she did marry my biological dad, so I kind of had questions even about that, Maybe he didn't want me, I was probably one of my first thoughts, like feelings of maybe unwanted, or rejected and abandoned. And growing up, I saw kids and other children or spending time with their families and their dads, maybe going hunting or maybe working with their dads, some carpentry, fixing the fence, whatever it might have been, like I saw that, but I didn't have that. Went into the street scene at an early age, even preteen, drugs and alcohol and so forth. Time I was struggling with my self-image, and because of that, your self-esteem and so forth. I remember tipping the scale at 308, but I was probably eating too for comfort, because of the pain. My aunt, and her husband, my uncle, and so they kind of took me under their wings a lot of times. I felt at home there a lot of times, a lot of sleepovers. They were believers. I felt like I needed to deal with my fatherlessness issues. I remember sharing that with an individual that I'd known for a number of years, and then he told me, Paul, you're never going to have that here on earth, he told me. You never will. And you need to grieve for that loss in your life, he said. And that was the first time, I think, that I burst out crying. I wanted to go find my dad's grave, I felt that would be part of the healing process, the grieving process. Finally, I came to it, and I remember crying there and being emotional there. And I knew, too, at a point with my mom that I had to, I need to tell her, I forgive you for giving me up, because that hurt, that really hurt. And so I remember one time me and my wife were up in Moose Factory, and there was some services going on at the church, and as we came home a little bit late, and there was a knock on the door. And it was my mom said, "Are you guys asleep yet?" And I said, "No." She said, "I wanted to talk to you." Because before I was kind of afraid of my mom to bring this up, because she's a tough lady, and she might say, "No, that's the past, leave it alone." And so she started talking, and that's what she was bringing up, about how she had given me up and how she was sorry for that. And so here was I over here thinking of moving towards her. She was also moving towards me. And so I told her, "I forgive you." We cried, we reconciled, and through this whole healing journey, I saw my mom accept Christ, and my stepdad and other family members, my uncle or aunts, they were coming to know Christ. Whereas before I observed drinking or parties in my home, now there was a change. They were Christian, no more parties in the house. They were going to church, so I started going to church. I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. I think that there was kind of that intersection with coming to Christ and still carrying a lot of pain in my life, but a lot of my life was a lot of walking away from God, and walking with God, coming back and forth because of all the different struggles I was wrestling with internally. But slowly and gradually, I think as I worked on my inner pain, healing, and growing and maturing in my walk with God, things were starting to get better, So how was your day? And so today I pastor today, I'm a pastor since '97. Went off to Bible college for 4 years, and through those situations, like before school, I failed so much in life, You kind of felt like a failure. And when you try to step out to try to do stuff, maybe work, employment, or education, I had some fears of failure. But I battled through those, and through encouragement of others, through the help of others, I was able to persevere. But as I started to work on a lot of this process, and I think I started to have more victory or more consistency in working on the physical part of my life. If I wasn't healing internally as well, I think that would have been a difficult thing. You have your battles, You have your past sometimes that wants to creep up on you and try to defeat you, you know, but you know that life will never bring satisfaction or fulfillment. The true satisfaction or contentment or fulfillment you have would be walking with the Lord, you know. So I know that He will be there and that He'll always love me no matter what.